Hey everybody, my name is Eileen Hull and I'm here at Sizzix, and I'm so excited to bring to you one of my favorite dies. It can be used in so many different ways, and I think that you'll have lots of ideas when you see how quick and easy it is to make. And this is the die we're going to use. It is called the treasure box, so you can put all your treasures and gifts and you can make them and sell them. So I think let's get started and take a look at the treasure box. I am using 49 and market paper, which I love, and it just about killed me to cut this, but I'm going to, and you're going to see how this is going to look so beautiful on a box. I am using the Crafty Garden Peaceful Magnificence paper, so if you want to get it, you may want to after. Okay, so we are going to be using some mat board. You're going to need your extended cutting pads. You're going to need the die. I'm going to use hot glue to put it together, and I'm going to give you a really good tip on how I like to reduce bulk, because we're cutting mat board and it gets kind of thick. So I like to kind of streamline it a little bit, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, so let's just sort out what we need. I have 2 pieces of double-sided adhesive, and I'm going to put them on my mat board because it's a lot easier if you put your adhesive on first and then your paper, and then you cut all at one time because your seams match up perfectly. Right, I'm going to put my adhesive way to the end, and then I know where I should place that on my die. Okay, so I've done that twice. Now you'll notice there is a little bit of adhesive sticking around the corner here. I'm going to just press that down because I don't want that to go on my die. Okay, now I'm going to peel this up and we're going to put our paper on. Now let's look at the die, because we want to make sure that we don't put it upside down. And if you have writing on your paper or anything, you will want to think about that, because this is the base section of the die and that's the top. So you want it to be going in the right direction. And on here, actually, I don't think it matters that much, but I'm going to do mine like this. To me, it's the colors and the kind of soft images. It's not so much the writing, that's a background. So I'm going to take both pieces of mat board, and you want to burnish the ends here, which I didn't do. Just lift this up. I find it's easier if you lift in the middle and go from there, because sometimes if you peel up on the outside, you'll start to peel away your mat board. You don't want to do that. Now I'm going to place this right at the end where my adhesive is, and I just kind of line up my sides. If you're a little bit off, don't worry about it. It's not going to matter, because you're cutting off your sides, so it's no big deal. If you have a geometric pattern, that would be more of a problem. Okay, so I'm just going to take my next one. Same thing. If you don't have nails, it's a little problem, but you can use your die pick. But I've been teaching, I've been on the road, so that's what happens. Okay, here's our next one. We're just going to kind of line the ends up here and lay that down. This is sticky. It's doing its job. Okay, now we are going to place this on our die. And you're going to see there are these 2 pieces here. I'm not going to use them for this project. I'm going to give you another tip on how to line up your box so the lid is kind of seated on the bottom of the box. And for that, I'm going to use my scraps, so hang on to them. Okay, now we are going to take our first piece, and like I said, we're going to place it with the right side facing the die. So I'm going to take that and go over here. And I know that my long end is here, so I want to make sure I cover this. I don't care about these pieces because I'm not going to use them. So I just want to make sure that I have all areas of the dies covered. And we are going to flip that over, and now we're going to cut it. So you're just going to place that between your 2 extended cutting pads. Now remember, we still have this adhesive left. And what I would do, if I had it, all my supplies here, I would take some baby powder and I would rub that on there, so you're not going to feel that adhesive, but you know, you can't have everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. I do love my Big Shot. It is just the best machine. When I'm on the road teaching, I can just take it into a store and know that that's going to work every time. Okay, so let's look at this. We've got our pieces cut out, and that's just exactly how I want it. I don't need these, so I don't care if they're covered or not right now. This is the bottom or top. I'm going to look at that and see which one I like better. Here are my parts to the box, and then I'm going to put these aside because I'm going to use them in a minute. So let's do that one more time, because this is a big box, so we need to have 2 sets. All right, so now let's see. I think I had it going this way, so I want to do it the same way. Let's go this way. All right, we're just going to cut that one more time. I'm trying not to have remorse for cutting that paper, but now I'm going to have it on a box and I can look at it and be just as happy. And 49 and Market, they're friends of mine, and I'm so happy now that they're working with Sizzix. I can use their product and my product together. All right, so here's exactly what we need for the second half of our box. All right, now let's get rid of our die. We don't need that right this minute. All right, move that so we have room to work. So I'm going to lay these out. Now, here's that tip that I was talking about. You can see how thick this is. Sometimes when you try to join all of these layers, you're going to have big, bulky seams. So what I'm going to do is, and actually, I'm going to take my die back out, and I'm going to use this to show you what I do when I'm assembling a box. I take my die. Normally, pretend this is my table. I would take my tabletop and lay all of my pieces on the edge of the table and bend them all the way over. What that does is it breaks these thick fibers. So sometimes they just want to pop out and go where you don't want them to go. So you have to break them. And you're the boss. You tell them where to go. So we're just going to fold these over. It'll make it much easier to work with. Okay, we're going to do that on all our tabs, wherever you see these score lines. It goes quick. I mean, you're going to have a full box in just a couple minutes. I'm going to use hot glue to put this together. Now, you can use regular glue if you have a little time. It's easier on a video to use hot glue. But on the other hand, it does add also a little extra bulk. So I normally don't use that. I use red line tape, but it's up to you. Okay, now I have bent over all of my score lines. And what I'm going to do to reduce that bulk is I am going to go through and just tear off some of this paper, because mat board is just made of layers and layers of paper. So I'm going to get rid of some of that. And my pretty paper, it's going to be okay. And I'm going to do that on all of my tabs here. All right, so now that we have removed all of the paper from the tabs, and I should say that if you're going to do it with one tab, do it with all of them, because otherwise it's going to sit funny. So we're going to get rid of all our little excess junk here, and we are going to go ahead and put this together. And this is how you're going to lay it out. Okay, you're going to take this full piece, and we are going to adhere on these tabs. So let's do this one first, okay? So as I said, I'm going to use the hot glue, and I'm just going to do my tab first. And so what I do is I put together the shape of it first, and then I'm going to put my top on. Now make sure that they're laying flat on the ground, because this is going to be the lid of the box that you want to sit, you know, what do you call that? Evenly. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now I am going to go ahead and fold on all of these lines. And do the same here. Just add a little more glue. Don't add a lot because that's going to come out and burn you. So ask me how I know that. But after it dries a little and you see it out there, if you just kind of want to pick that off. Okay, so now we have our lid. It's going to go on the top of the box. So let's get our corresponding top. So what I do here is I'm going to take a line of glue and lay that down here and get it positioned how I want, and then I'll flip it up and do the rest of the gluing. Also, someone gave the tip of if you have one of the stamp and stencil tools and you have that sticky grid on it, you can lay this on there and get a nice 90-degree angle, and it stays exactly how you want. All right, so I've just laid that down. I'm going to press. You want to do that or else it's not going to have good contact. Okay, so now we can go ahead. We know that this is going to fit. We're just going to do the rest of our gluing. It's kind of a race to make sure you get your glue down so it's still hot. So if you need to refill your glue, do it before. Okay, and then you're just going to press. Now we've got a little bit poking out here. I'm just going to... Okay, so now we have a nice lid, and I'm going to go over here and press. Make sure that's nice and tight. Now, if you want to finish this off really nicely, you could cut another piece of paper just smaller than this and place that inside. Or you could even do a layer of paper on the top and a layer of paper on the bottom. Your machine is going to do the job. So now we have our lid done, and we're going to do the exact same thing for the box. And these hinges are pretty important to get because that's where okay, so I'm just going to fold these up, and again, a little more glue. And we are done with the base of the box. So just go through here, make sure that's nice and tight, and we're going to do the exact same thing here. Okay, so we're going to a little bit on this long tab. I love that. Isn't that flower just so pretty? Now make sure that you form it into a rectangle. Sometimes it can get a little wonky here, but just try and get that first tab down right, and then the rest just fall in place. But you are almost done, and we have a box in just a couple minutes. So if you have an event that you're doing, like a wedding or a shower, and you want just a special little keepsake, you know, this would make a great gift. Or you could do like little mini books and give them for Mother's Day or birthday present. So many things you can do with this box. Okay, now let me show you the fun thing. When you go to put this together, because we cut those all at one time, that paper is perfectly going to match up the top and the bottom. Okay, so one more thing I want to show you, and that is how to put your box, give it kind of a, wait a minute, I can't do two things at once. All right, so I am just cutting out this extra strip. Now this is a little thicker than I usually do. I would do maybe 1/2 inch, but because I cut it kind of wonky, this is a little longer. It's not going to matter. This is what we're going to do is we're going to cut these pieces right here. I'm just kind of eyeballing, but you should be able to get 2 tabs, and yeah, that'll work. And then cut this one too. This is sticky. Okay, I'm just going to cut another one. You can see that I'm measuring the width of the pieces. So anyway, what we're going to do is we are going to take these pieces here, and we are going to use these as a guide for you to sit your box on. You can do the top, you can put them in the top here, and I usually do that. All right, that one I cut a little long. You could measure these. I'm not a measurer. Okay, and I think I'm going to glue gun these too. All right, I usually pick the end that has the straight edge. This one has glue, but little baby powder. All right, I have to refill my glue gun. So you can kind of try to match it up, but it really doesn't matter. Just gonna sit that in the box just a little bit, maybe 1/4 of an inch. And let me just add another stick of glue. And you could use regular glue for this, but we have the glue gun out, so. Oh, that's hot. You're just going to do the same height here. And almost done. Yeah, this is adding a little extra bulk, but that's okay. I would probably normally use glue here. But it all works. And one more. And our box is almost ready. So we don't need to have a hinge, but you could if you wanted to add hinges, and they are built into the die. So those are fine to use, but I just thought, let me give you an extra tip on how to use your scraps. So you have used basically every piece of the die. Oh, see, you can see it matches up. Isn't that great? I love it. So you could put a handle here, you could add latches, decorative pieces, little, you know, latches on the side to hold it. A glass knob would be pretty. But basically, here is your treasure box. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed seeing how quick and easy it is to make this treasure box. And I hope that you'll go ahead over to Sizzix or to your favorite retailer and check out the rest of my collection. Watch for more videos, and thanks so much for watching.